There, I'm Kat.
And I'm Derek. Welcome to Chit Chat with Derek and Kat.
We're your backstage pass into the world of family businesses, the real stories, the real challenges, and everything that makes these businesses thrive across generations.
Each week, we'll interview entrepreneurs, leaders, service providers, and family dynasties to swap stories, dig into lessons learned, and have a few laughs along the way.
So, whether you're part of a family business, dreaming of starting one, or you just love a good success story, you're in the right place.
Let's go to it. It's time for Chit Chat with Derek and Kat. Our next guest on Chit Chat with Derek and Kat is John Austin. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here and to be talking with both of you.
So we have a big event coming up here at Volk Packaging. I'm hosting it on May 29. Why don't you tell us about that event? Tell us about Future Sprint, what you're doing.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So Future Sprint really is it's something I'm really excited about because really what it is it's an opportunity to help small business owners and medium-sized businesses take the opportunity to see around the corner. I really actually believe you can see the future, and that might sound kind of crazy, but what I mean by that is that we really can see the edges of possibility if we use a structured approach to do that. And this is something that large companies have done for a long time, and it's been an advantage for your larger companies because you can spend all of this money to do this business intelligence work to bring people together, such as myself and the work I was doing 10 to 15 years ago to really take you could pay me a lot of money and I will build customized futures for you if you were a large company. And what's really exciting right now, and this is what we do with Future Sprint, and I say we, it's myself, my business partner, Justine Bassett, is that we have
With UNE, right?
so yes, I'm sorry. Actually,
Yeah.
this is work that I've done that comes out of my research. I'm the dean of the Honors College at University of New England. So yes, I should have mentioned that.
Yeah.
This work is actually work that I met Justine when both of us were working at University of New England. And we both found that we had this interest in how we could help small businesses innovate. And so together we really worked at how we could take her experience, which is in really understanding customers and helping you design solutions for the customers you have, and my experience with helping people deal with uncertain futures. And together we were able to build what we call the future sprint. And the part of
What do
this,
you, how do you define a small business? Like we at the Institute for Family Owned Business, we have our awards, and in this Maine, so we say
Mhm.
25 or more employees is a large business. So
Got
small
it.
business is
Yep.
under that. So a lot of different places have different definitions. How do you define small, medium, and large?
Well, so that's a great question, and what I would say is that historically, the type of work that I do, which is helping people really see an industry shift, let's say 6 months before your competitors. Historically, you're talking about businesses that had more than 1,000 employees who could afford to sort of bring someone in to really help them develop that capability. What has shifted is technology and things that you used to need uh, uh, either a team of consultants to do or people who had time to do. Now you can actually leverage some of the research capabilities that we now have available individually. So when you talk about a small business as less than 25 employees, I have used this work for my own business, which, is basically 1 to 2 people, depending on what we're doing, right?
Right.
And what it allows you to do, and what Justine and I will be doing at this event is helping people really think about how is it that you can when you're making your day-to-day decisions, how is it that you can ensure that you're making decisions that are also future-proofing your company against shocks that might happen in the next year or in the next 2 years? And it is actually possible to do that. And that's what is exciting to me. I'm not saying you can predict what those shocks will be, but there are ways that you can go about putting out your fires, let's put it that way, that actually in the back of your mind, you're also thinking, oh, there's this uncertainty out there. And if I fix this problem by going in direction B, that actually is going to prepare me in 6 months for this other thing that might be happening. So what I think of as what I do is I don't care how big your business is. I care how flexible your brain is. Okay. And if you have a leader who is able to look in different places than everyone else in your industry, that's actually the leader that's going to be able to potentially see how to react quicker.
So we're having an event here at Volk Packaging, as I mentioned. We're in Biddeford, Maine. I'm a corrugated box manufacturer, and I've agreed, working with John and his team, to host an event on May 29 at 9 a.m. And we would love to see some of Maine's great family businesses attend. So if you are interested in this event, you can reach out to me. And all my information will be in the show notes, or just Google Derek Volk and you'll find me. I'm not that hard to find. What are we going to be doing at this 90-minute event on May 29?
Well, so what we'll be doing is Justine and I will be walking you through and actually giving you the experience of identifying uncertainties and seeing how we can very quickly create rich stories of futures around that. And we do that so quickly that we then can turn to what's actually most relevant for business owners, which is, so what? What are the actions that this implies are, what would we say? No lose actions, right? Sure thing actions, and things that you can confidently say you're going to do now because you've looked across futures. And then what are those actions that really set you up well if the world goes in one direction, but potentially could be risky if it goes in another direction? So what should you monitor if that's what you're going to choose to do? So my intent is everyone who comes to this event is going to walk away from this with a very clear understanding of how a specific decision they're making right now can be made in a way that is preparing them for next year, as well as to survive the rest of this year.
With our businesses, we have a lot of peer groups, and we work with the next generation. We work with CEOs. We work with women in family business. And in the last 5 years since COVID, everybody's like, are we going into recession? Are we going to, what's happening? And there's a feeling of a lot of chaos going on right now. And I'm not being political one way or the other. So how do everybody, the stock market's going crazy and people say, well, we don't know what the future is. We don't know what's happening. So how do you help people with that future look?
So I'm actually finishing a book right now that is about something called uncertainty intelligence. And my point of view is that there is a way that there's a mindset that you can take that allows you to not be paralyzed in these moments. And it's really in these moments when other people are waiting for clarity, there are leaders right now who are saying, this is my moment to step into something. And the way we do that is that we design flexible actions. So
you have multiple scenarios. So if this happens, this happens,
you have multiple scenarios.
There
There may also be that you move smartly, but you move. So what is it that you don't sit and wait for things to settle down? Because quite frankly, we're not seeing things settling down. So you might be waiting for a while as part of that. So that's the main thing, is how do you shift your mindset to look at the chaos as an opportunity, while also recognizing that we need to manage it. We need to manage our risk. We need to be prepared for that. And there's kind of a balance there.
I had a previous boss who said, out of chaos comes opportunity.
I'd agree with that. Now, what I'd also say, though, is that we have to have empathy for how much chaos creates burnout, and it can overwhelm us. And so as leaders, we also want to be mindful of that. But the key thing I would say is that there are, in 1 year, 2 years' time, we're going to look back on this moment and say, oh, wow, that person over there really timed that move well. And those are the type of people we're trying to create.
I was actually at a seminar recently, and the guy was talking about how he kept telling his wife, just wait. In a few months, everything's going to smooth out. And she finally sat down with him and she said, you know, you're a liar. And he said, what? And she said, you're not lying to me. You're lying to yourself because
Hmm.
there's this J curve that just keeps happening. And you keep thinking that when we get to the top of the J curve, that everything's just going to stay flat. And it never does. It always goes back down and then comes back up and then goes back down. And she said, until you realize you're living in the J curve, you're going to be unhappy. And it was, I, and I sat there and I thought, yeah, I've said that many times. Oh, if we can just get through this, everything will be smooth. And at least in the box business, that day never comes. There's always
Right.
something, there's another chaos down the road.
And what I would react to with that is that we can't control that J curve, but we can control our reaction to that J curve. And that's really what I like to think about. When we talk about removing risk, we're not actually removing risk from the world. We're just offloading it out of our business, right? And it's the same thing with if we have this thing called ambiguity avoidance. As humans, we tend to choose the less ambiguous choice. And uncertainty creates ambiguity. So one of the things that we do as a defense mechanism is we ignore uncertainties because we say we can't control them. But it also conveniently makes us feel better when we don't look at the uncertainties. And so what the point I like to make is that uncertainty is not going away. You're just not looking at it. And we also know that surprises create innovation. So by looking at the uncertainty, you might actually see a surprise before others. So,
It's interesting. I read a book called Irrational Predictability, and it was all about how people do things predictably, but not necessarily
mhm.
rationally. And one of the things about your ambiguity concept is it said that if you people like to compare things. If they don't have anything to compare, they don't have a basis of knowledge. So if you put a contemporary house and a colonial next to each other, modern house and a colonial, and they're each $500,000, you have no idea which one is good value. So half the people will take the colonial, half the people will take the modern house. But then if you put the modern house, a colonial, and then a colonial with some shutters that are broken and the lawn not mowed, now people have a comparison and they'll pick the colonial like 75 or 80% of the time because they say, well, if that colonial's with all the broken windows and the bad lawn is $500,000, that one must be a good deal because they have something to base it on. It was a really interesting book.
That's interesting, right? Yeah, I love that. I think that if I'm thinking of the same book, it's written by Dan Ariely. He wrote a book.
I read it a long time ago.
Yeah, and he did some great work on that. And I actually come from some of a similar background in my training.
I sense that.
So yeah, so that resonates absolutely.
Yeah, it's very really interesting to see how the brain works consistently, but
Hmm.
not necessarily that it necessarily makes any sense.
Well, let me kind of bring one other aspect since you brought
Sure.
that up, which kind of gets us a little bit away from helping your business plan in the future, but it does explain why it is that it is possible for us to get back to not fearing uncertainty. And that is, there's a number of studies out there that have demonstrated that all adults have some level of ambiguity avoidance. But you know who doesn't? 9-year-olds. There have been multiple studies that show that children up to the age of 9 or 10 do not fear uncertainty. And in fact, sometimes they look forward to it. It's an adventure, it's exciting. They see the wonder in it. And between the time we're 10 and adults, we learn to fear uncertainty. And I love that because it just reminds us there was a moment in your life that you looked at this and said, this is exciting. There might be a pirate out there, right?
Well, my dad, I was in the Foreign Service growing up, and I lived in Russia, West Africa, Australia, and the Pacific. And every 2 or 3 years, we moved. So that uncertainty changed. Like we always had to start new schools, new places, new things. And I was the youngest child, and I loved that. It was really fun for me. But my older sisters, they didn't like that uncertainty quite as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you done the future sprint? Have you done what we're doing here? And again, it's May 29 at Volk Packaging, 9 a.m. to 10:30.
Mhm.
It's a 90-minute free event that if you're running a business and you're interested in coming, please reach out to me. You can email me, ceo@volkboxes.com. Um, have you done that before? Have you done this before?
Absolutely. So I've done this with a number of different groups. We've done it with small businesses, banks. I actually have I also do some work at some universities. I'm in Pennsylvania right now. I'm sorry to say this is not my math behind me.
Looks like he's fresh.
I saw a typo up there on the upper left
Right.
there. It's a
This is
little
me trying
typo
to
there.
decide
I
where to
wasn't
have
going to
lunch.
correct you. I didn't want to look like a know-it-all.
No, but I'm down here because I actually was just at the Wharton School helping a group think about managing uncertainty. So all of this is stuff that I've done quite a bit. What's different about it is that with the help of Justine, we've moved beyond just helping people see the future to really focusing on how you can do something about it right now, how you can take that future to inform your decisions you need to make today. So we have done it. We've done it with groups of different sizes. And in this particular one, we'll be bringing some specific forces that will be impacting the future of Maine and Maine businesses and bringing our research with with us to that event as well.
Terrific. That's terrific. So when is your book coming out? I'm curious.
Well, all I can say at the moment is I'm targeting a fall launch with this. We're still sort of in the publishing part of it where we're deciding how close it is.
Right, well, we'll have to have you back on the show after that.
Absolutely.
Great. So you ready for the speed round?
Absolutely.
All
Yes.
right. So what's a saying that you're known for? What is something that people always say, oh, he's always saying such and such?
Oh, okay. Um, that I already said it here, so I think that I think it's unfair, but it is really that stop looking where everyone else is looking.
Yep.
I've said
Yeah,
that quite a bit.
that's great.
And share one interesting fact or experience that would never show up on your formal bio that shaped your success.
So, one of my first jobs after I graduated from high school was that I worked as a lifeguard at Sand Beach in Acadia National Park.
Oh,
I
wow.
spent 2 summers doing that. And that experience very early on made me realize that you can absolutely love your work. It just hadn't occurred to me that work could be something that gives you joy until I did that.
When I graduated from college, I didn't know what I was going to do, and and I read, "What color is your parachute?" And it says, "Do what you love, and the money will follow." Well, I traveled, and what money's coming along, but it's always fun. I think like we're doing this, it's fun to have fun, and you should enjoy what you're doing, And I love what I do at the institute.
Did you have to save anybody while you were doing that?
You know, the best part about that job is no one swims up there really. So, I mean, I pulled people out of the water. I don't think they were going to die.
Yeah.
I thought they were.
We also we also did first response on in the park trails. So that was fun
Oh,
because so if someone had a heart attack or sprained an ankle, one of the lifeguards would go running up the trails. And so imagine you're in a national park and someone dressed as a lifeguard shows up on a mountain. That's what happened. So
that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. So what book, podcasts, or streaming that you're watching would you want to recommend to us?
So I will say that anything that Adam Grant is doing, I think is particularly valuable. And I'll be honest, I don't know what his current podcast is because it's been I know he's just shifted to one. But Adam Grant is I don't know if you're familiar with some of his work, but he's written a number of great books about decision making, how to one of his best well-known books is about givers and takers and how you can sort of work with people in different ways. And he does a wonderful job of taking solid research about organizations, psychology, and management, and really helping people understand how they can use that. So anything that Adam Grant does.
All right, we'll check him out. Thanks a lot. Well, John, thank you again for coming on the show. We appreciate it. And again, it's May 29, 9 a.m. here at Volk Packaging in Biddeford. If you're interested, email me, ceo@volkboxes.com, and we'll get you registered. John, thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see
having
you.
me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We'll be back next week with more Chit Chat with Derek and Kat.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Chit Chat with Derek and Kat. If you loved hearing today's family business story, don't forget to follow the show and leave us a review. It helps more people find these amazing stories. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Want to learn more about the families and service providers we feature, or get involved with the Institute for Family-Owned Business or Volk Packaging Corporation? Visit fambusiness.org, fambusiness.org. We'll see you next time on Chit Chat with Derek and Kat.